sige. Sa bahay kasi ako ngayon na online, hindi ko alam kung okay. Excuse me. Anyways, yan. So, thank you for letting me meet you, kahit online ngayong hapon. Tapos, for your finals, by the way, hindi ko na isasama yung membrane set, tsaka yung adsorption. Kasi, nung nagre-revise ako ng lecture for particle technology ng FE, kasi dalawa yung kanila, di ba? SEPA and Partech for the whole midterm. Nung nagre-revise ako, na-conclude ko na yung membrane separation was actually a part of filtration. May discussion talaga ng membrane sep, reverse osmosis, and others doon sa part ng filtration sa particle technology. So, mas maganda siguro na doon na lang talaga siya ma-include din. And since doon naman din sa previous experience ng retakers, yung membrane separation at saka adsorption ay more of parang conceptual lang din. Tama ba ako? Am I right na parang conceptual lang din ang nangyari? Ayun. Tapos yung halos computation ni membrane separation is almost similar with filtration na na-discuss naman with particle technology kay Ma'am Nanet. So, mas better siguro na hindi na lang natin siya isama. Yan. Tapos, yun. So, bale, for finals, we only have 3 unit operations na isasama. Gas absorption, leaching, and LLE na halos similar yung mechanism. Yung sa solid liquid extraction tsaka liquid-liquid extraction. Halos same lang sila. Then sa paghahanap ko din ng problems na isasama sana sa exam ng FE tsaka ng sa inyo for your finals, I saw one good reference na ginamit, I guess, ng Sir Ralph Ornales ninyo, if you know him, for this lecture. Kasi sa kanya talaga technically galing tong lecture na to. Bukod pa yung ni-revise na lecture ko na binigay ko sa kanya. So, i-upload ko rin yun para magkaroon pa kayo ng other references para sa LLE at saka leaching. Kasi LLE and leaching ay medyo maikli lang yung discussion natin. Ay itong reference na to, may maganda siyang discussion and might as well yung mga sample problems niya ay well discussed din talaga. So maganda siyang aralin kumbaga. Kaya i-extract ko lang siya sa PDF tapos i-upload ko rin siya sa classroom. So paki-add na lang yon sa mga babasahin ninyo. Kasi yung concepts here, almost similar naman sa madidiscuss natin, pero mas detalyado or may additional concepts pa na pwede kayong makuha from the additional reference na ibibigay ko. Yun. Okay? So, I guess we can start na with gas absorption. Ay, by the way, nagpapapol pala ako just to ensure yung majority yung sasama sa field trip ay nasa second batch kasi I'm not quite sure kung lahat nga ay sa second batch siya. Kasi kung 23, 24, 25 ang majority na sasamahan ng field trip, since wala din ako ng 16, 17, 18 and nasa FE ako ng 23, 24, 25 na field trip, baka ang inyong maging finals is on the 21st at saka 22nd. Or mas gusto nyo ba na earlier than that? Kaya ba na mag-final exam na tayo ng 14 or 15? Or mas better na 21, 22 na lang? Sige, ipapapol ko na lang din at baka parang di pa makapag-decide. Ipapol ko na lang kung alin ang mas preferred ninyo. para the majority wins na lang tayo ha. If majority 21-22 ang gusto, ay di wala tayong magagawa doon kasi as a class naman kayo mag-e-exam, hindi naman individually talaga. I mean, hindi magkakahiwalay, sabay-sabay kayong mag-e-exam. Tapos, yung problem set nga lang, ang medyo aagahan natin kasi may deadline din ang sir ng pag-upload ng grade. Eh kung tatambakan ako ng chechekan, actually tambak na nga ngayon dahil hindi ako nakakapasok due to my illness. Itong nagdaang weekend until yesterday. Though until ngayon naman, medyo mabababa na lang kumbaga yung level. Ay yun, hindi ko kayo ma-uploadan agad on time ng grade. So baka mag 50-50 tayo if necessary mag-removals pa. Yan. Okay, pero I hope ay hindi naman na. Since 50-50 naman ang ating grades, 50% will be coming from you and 50% will be coming from me na finals at saka midterm exams lang. Yan. Okay, saka siguro para may more time kayo next week for your final project. Ganun na lang gawin natin. Yung 14 at 15, and you can do your final project laboratory kung sakali. Yan. Okay. Sige, papapol ko na lang yung date ng exam. Sige, let's start. So we have gas absorption. So si gas absorption po ay halos similar with distillation. Okay? So yung mga natutunan na concepts from distillation, lalong-lalo na doon sa part ng pag-extract, okay, ng solute natin from the mixture, either liquid mixture or vapor mixture. Since ang distillation, nahahati siya sa dalawa. You have your rectifying section at saka stripping section, di ba? Yan. So either of those two, yung concept ng pagte-transfer natin ng solute, okay, to your solvent or to any carrier most likely, yun yung concept ni gas absorption. So kung naintindihan natin yun from distillation, it would be easier for us to understand how gas absorption works. Pero yung computation ni gas absorption, dun tayo medyo nagkakaroon ng confusion at times since sa gas absorption, may mga kino-consider tayo na solute-free na basis at saka bukod pa yung actual composition, kumbaga on a wet basis naman. For some references, dry at wet basis yung ginagamit na terms. So for gas absorption, we are asked to explain the difference between absorption and stripping, as well as yung physical at saka chemical absorption. We are also asked to enumerate yung types of industrial equipments na meron tayo for absorption and stripping. But normally, isa lang. Tapos nagva-vary na lang yung klase ng equipment sa kung ano yung gusto talaga natin maging output. Pero yung generic design or the generic equipment, iisa lang naman siya. Normally, it's a column. Then, to solve problems involving gas absorption, such as calculations of tower height, number of equilibrium stages, efficiency, and vapor-liquid handling capacity of equipment involved. So sa gas absorption po, dahil nga siya almost similar with distillation, dalawa din yung klase ng design ng column niya. It may be trace, pwede rin namang siya ay packed column. Okay? But majority of the gas absorbers na meron tayo utilizes packed columns instead of trace. But that varies. Depende kung anong klase ng feed meron ka and ano ba yung target natin na magiging output. So gas absorption is also called as gas scrubbing or gas washing. This is a unit operation in which yung gas mixture natin ay in contact with a liquid or also known as absorbent or solvent to selectively dissolve yung isa or madaming components na possible na makuha from the gas mixture. And yung ginagamit natin na mechanism is by mass transfer from the gas to the liquid. And meron ding opposite, okay? mechanism na from the liquid to gas naman, that is called desorption naman. Okay? Or stripping. Yan. So the components transferred to the liquid are referred to as solutes or absorbate, and yung insoluble components na hindi nakukuha ng inyong solvent will be now known as your carrier gas. So it is used to separate gas mixtures, remove impurities, contaminants, pollutants, or catalyst poisons from gas, or recover valuable chemicals. So basically, gas absorption is another purifying unit operation. Yun yung kanyang kumbaga basic or generic purpose. Okay. And like what I've said kanina, gas absorption has the opposite mechanism known as stripping or desorption. So this is, again, the opposite of absorption, wherein yung liquid mixture naman natin ang in contact with a gas. Tapos yung gas naman ang selectively nagre-remove ng components by mass transfer mula dun sa ating liquid mixture to a gas phase ng ating solute. Then strippers are frequently coupled to absorbers to permit regeneration or recovery and recycling of the absorbent. So unlike your distillation setups, sa distillation kasi normally, yung inyong nagiging solvent ay nanggagaling doon sa ating mixture mismo. Kunyari, nag-boil ka nga, di ba? Nagpasok ka ng feed due to differences in volatility rather, nagvo-volatilize yung more volatile component at siya yung nagiging reason kung bakit nakukuha yung katulad niya from the liquid mixture as your vapor goes up of the column. Sa stripping naman or sa gas absorption mismo, gumagamit tayo ng another component apart from the mixture na meron tayo. So, kung ako ay magtatayo ng planta or if I will be utilizing this process, medyo costly siya. Kasi may dagdag tayong material na bibilihin ko maya't maya, araw-araw, every minute, para makuha ko lang yung aking solute from the liquid or gas mixture. So it is necessary na magkaroon ng regeneration or parang reusability, recycling ng aking solvent. Okay? Tapos, after doing so, ginagamit ulit siya. Okay, to absorb another solute. Pero may extent kasi yung pagre-regenerate or pagre-recycle natin ng mga absorbents or solvent natin. Yun lang yung time na kung hindi na siya efficient or hindi na mataas yung percentage na nakukuha niya, yun lang yung time na pinapalitan ng fresh ulit yung ating solvent itself. Kaya sa mga thesis na gagawa ng mga absorbents or adsorbents, it is necessary na magkaroon ng regeneration sa SOP para makita natin hanggang ilang beses ba pwedeng magamit yung ating particular absorbent or adsorbent. For us to know kung gaano ba kalaki din ang magagastos natin kung sakaling siya ay ilalagay on an industrial scale. Yan. So important yun. So we have two types of absorption. So we have a non-reactive and a reactive absorption. So yung non-reactive absorption natin, this is known to be a physical absorption lang. Nakukuha lang natin siya. Para siyang sponge na habang naguhugas ka, na-absorb mo lang yung liquid, nagkakaroon ka lang ng sabon dun sa sponge itself. And kapag in-squeeze mo yung sponge, sabon pa rin at sabon talaga yung lalabas. Okay? But for chemical absorption, which is known to be a reactive absorption, nakakapag-produce tayo ng panibagong component. Normally, it happens kapag reactive yung dalawang components natin sa isa't isa, gaya na lang kung meron kang acid at saka base. Okay? So ang tendency is magkaroon ng irreversible neutralization. Nagkakaroon ka ng formation ng water other than doon sa ating components na ginamit at kinukuha. Yan. So we have here a list ng commercial applications ng absorption, the known solute and absorbent na ginagamit or common absorbent na ginagamit, and its type of absorption. So other than physical absorptions, meron tayong chemical absorption na nade-divide pa rin into two. You have your irreversible and reversible chemical absorption. When we say reversible, meron lang tayong isinasamang process or kasunod na process kung saan naiibalik natin sa dapat na compounds or components yung resulting natin na products. But for irreversible chemical absorption, ay di as it is yung inyong magiging product after the actual absorption operation. So where do we apply chemical and physical absorption? So it is being applied in many process industries. We have a list or we have a lot of applications na pwedeng puntahan kumbaga ng absorption mechanism itself. From chemical industries to food industries, meron tayo. Even pharmaceuticals also utilizes absorption or gas absorption. So for your gas absorption equipment, okay, normally we have a column or a tower, okay? And that tower may be trayed or packed, okay, gaya na sa distillation, okay? So your tray tower is also known as a plate column. I guess hindi naman na bago sa atin. Kung anong itsura ng magiging column na ito. At saka kung ano yung mechanism. So siguro ang pinagkaibahan lang or malaking difference is walang reboilers, I guess, or imposibleng walang condenser kasi you have your gases na makukuha after. And from those gases, kung siya ay stripping, possible na siya i-condense mo to get the actual solute na kailangan mo. Another thing is, dalawa yung feed natin. You have your liquid tsaka your gas. Unlike distillation, isa lang yung ating feed. Nahahati lang siya minsan, depende sa kung anong klase ng feed na meron tayo. Siya ba ay partially vaporized, okay? Or the other Q values na nakuha natin before. So your trade towers may utilize again three types. Okay? Meron tayo still sieve trays, you also have your valve trays at saka yung bubble cup trays. So listed naman dito yung comparison between the types of trays na meron tayo. Okay? So in terms of efficiency, maganda talaga ang valve at saka bubble cup trays kasi sila ay nakadepende sa kung ano yung rate ng feed natin. Unlike sieve trays na as it is lang siya, ang mag-a-adjust is yung feed talaga. Then we have your packed columns. So sa packed column naman, we have two. We have random at saka structured packings pa din. So we use packed columns to increase yung contact time ng liquid natin at saka ng ating vapor streams na pumapasok. At kapag nga nangyayari yung increase in contact time, they believe na mas malaki yung chances na mas madami yung nakukuha nating solute from the mixture na ginamit natin papunta dun sa ating solvent or absorbent. Okay. So here are the typical packings na meron tayo. So here is the comparison of the types of packings. Okay. So another additional design na ginagamit natin for gas absorption is your spray tower. So sa spray tower naman, yung liquid natin, instead of pumapasok siya from, sabihin natin from the side of the column, pumapasok siya through sprinklers or parang sprayers mismo doon sa loob ng ating column para mas mataas yung chance na scattered yung ating liquid mixture at magkaroon ng mataas din na chance na magkaroon siya ng contact with your gases. Since we all know na ang gas natin kapag siya nilagay mo sa isang space, ang tendency niya is mag-spread out, mag-diffuse. So para mas mataas yung chance ng contact ng ating liquid at saka ng ating gases, spray towers were also used. Okay. So if only one or two theoretical stages are required, only a very low pressure drop is allowed and the solute is very soluble in the liquid phase, instead of utilizing yung ating pack at saka plate columns, we use spray towers na lang. Mas efficient siya. Kasi it would not require naman tawag ito, ng higher like sa height sa pack columns tsaka several number of stages or trays. So I guess spray tower is the best option na kumbaga. It's quite advantageous already. But we also have another setup, nakabaliktaran naman is spray tower. So instead of sprinkling yung ating liquid dun sa column and allow the gas to be in contact with the sprinkled liquid or droplets, we can have a direct contact ng ating liquid na pinasok doon sa ating column with the gas through bubbling naman. Okay? So ang ginagawa naman dito, parang pinupuno mo yung column mo ng liquid habang merong nag-sparge, okay? Or pinapurge na gas solvent. Okay. So your bubble columns, normally, sila naman yung kapag stripping yung gagawin natin. If you wanted, kumbaga mas effective siya kung stripping yung gas yung ating ginagamit as a solvent. But not limited to that. Pwede rin naman na yung liquid natin yung maging solvent and yung gas pa rin yung ating maging mixture. Pero if I am to take or compare the two, yung spray tower at saka yung bubble column, for me, sa bubble column, it's more of liquid to gas. Tapos kapag spray tower naman, yun yung gas to liquid. Yeah. Okay. Similar din naman sila, 1 to 2 theoretical stages, pero dito, mataas na yung pressure drop. Then we also have your centrifugal contactor. So ito naman, halos same lang with the spray tower, with the bubble column, or even the packed at saka plate columns. Ang pinagkaibahan lang is gumagamit tayo ng centrifugal force. Okay? Para fully ma-separate yung solute natin na sumasama with your liquid solvent at maiwan yung ating gas stream na supposedly empty ng solute na already. Yun siya. And kapag kasi gumagamit tayo ng centrifugation or ito kasi parang ang atake niya is cyclone. Nagkakaroon tayo ng double helix. So, nasa-separate siya dun sa outside. Ito, like dito. Papasok kasi yung vapor mo here. So, pagpasok ng vapor mo dito, umiikot na to. Yung liquid mo, tumatama na siya dun sa ating vapor. Okay? At sa pagtama niya, napupunta siya sa sides at nade-drain siya pababa. While your vapor, siya naman yung umiikot pataas ulit at lumalabas doon sa outlet mismo. So yung helix, yung double helix na tinutukoy natin happens, wait lang, sa side na to, So habang umiikot, dito umiikot to, yung ating liquid, then yung vapor mo, umiikot naman siya pataas. So that's the double helix na tinutukoy natin dyan. So parang cyclone separators ang atake. So for the general design considerations, ito naman yung properties, characteristics ng equipment, solvent, or even the actual feed na gagamitin natin para mapili natin si gas absorption as the proper or right unit operation for a particular process. So una, solubility. Kailangan may mataas na solubility yung solute natin doon sa ating mapipili na solvent. Apart from that, kailangan hindi naman soluble yung carrier gas natin. Okay? Kasi kung soluble ang carrier gas natin at soluble din yung solute dun sa mapipili natin na solvent, ang tendency is magkaroon ka ng 3-component na liquid mixture, or possible na maging 2-component siya if reactive pa. Okay? Yung inyong carrier gas with your chosen solvent. So another consideration din yon other than solubility is yung reactivity mismo ng inyong components sa isa't isa. Another one is volatility. So a good solvent should have a low volatility or vapor pressure. Kasi normally your gases has higher temperatures than your liquid. Okay? So kapag kasi nagkaroon ng contact sa isa't isa at mataas ang volatility ng liquid solvent mo, ang tendency ng solvent natin is mag-vaporize, mag-volatilize. And in that case, sumasama lang siya doon sa ating gas mixture at hindi natin nasa-separate yung solute natin with the carrier gas. So, low volatility is a must. Then viscosity, a solvent should have a low viscosity. Bakit po? Kasi nahihirapan naman ang solute mo mag-penetrate doon sa ating solvent kapag siya ay mataas ang viscosity. As much as possible nga, parang ang viscosity niya is near dapat sa water or talagang liquid in form para mas madali ang penetration ng solute natin doon sa ating solvent, and might as well the other way around, yung contact naman ng solvent natin with the actual mixture ay mapadali yung mass transfer. Kapag kasi mataas ang viscosity, mahihirapan nga mag-transfer from the gas mixture dun sa ating solvent. So it would cause flooding, pagbabara mismo dun sa column natin kasi nga sobrang viscous ng ating napiling solvent. Then corrosiveness, as much as possible, siya ay less to non-corrosive since ang material natin halos lahat for the whole column is made out of metals. So regardless kung siya ba ay stainless steel or any grade of metal, to be safe, kumbaga, ay dapat siya ay less to non-corrosive para maiwasan din ang impurities or contamination na possible makuha ng ating feed at resulting mixture natin na solvent at solute. Then the cost of your solvent, okay? So dito naman ay kumbaga self-explanatory siya. Sa cost kasi as much as possible, mura pero effective. Other than that, it's available talaga. Madali siyang ma-procure. Pero there are cases kasi na if you really wanted to be selective yung ating solvent, nag-a-add talaga tayo ng additional cost. Then hazard and toxicity. Your solvent must be non-toxic, non-flammable, non-hazardous, and should be chemically stable. Kasi nga, we are dealing with gases as well na in contact with your liquid. And with high temperatures, high pressures, kapag siya ay, doon na lang tayo sa flammability, possible na magkaroon ng ignition possible na pumutok or sumabog yung equipment natin just because of that. Yan. So operating temperature and pressure, kapag po absorber yung ating gamit, always remember na siya ay high pressure, low temperature. Okay? To minimize stage requirements and or absorbent flow rate and to lower the equipment volume required to accommodate the gas flow. Kapag ka naman po stripper, low pressure and high temperature tayo to minimize stage requirements or stripping agent flow rate. Ang isa sa tinatandaan ko dito din, kapag kasi absorber, di ba, ang ginagamit nating solvent is liquid. So, ang tendency ko is to somehow operate at a lower temperature na hindi mag-volatilize yung aking chosen solvent. And kapag ka naman stripper, na normally vapor, ang aking ginagamit na solvent, I need to operate at a high temperature para ma-maintain ko yung form or phase ng aking solvent, which is normally in gas. Yan. Okay. Ano ba ang mga constraints sa paggamit ng absorbers and strippers? So sa absorber, yung kanilang pressure is greater than the ambient pressure. Yun yung common. Kumbaga, basta higher than the ambient. And yung temperature din, halos ganon. But not too high. As much as possible, medyo dapat nga mas mababa than the lower one. But not to an extent naman na magko-condense talaga. Then for your strippers naman, medyo mataas kasi ang maintenance cost kapag ka siya i-vacuum since we are dealing with gases as a solvent. So, na-operate siya kapag na mas mataas lang din sa ambient yung ating pressure. Then temperature, ay di kailangan talaga mataas. Pero yun yung key, what do you call this? Key concept na ginagamit ko. Sa temperature ako nagbe-base, depende sa kung anong klase ng solvent yung ginagamit. So for the principle of gas absorption, alamin muna natin yung mga definitions or terms na madalas natin ginagamit for us to easily understand yung klase ng formula na gagamitin natin. So we have your absorption column. I guess everyone knows already. Yung absorption factor natin, this is somewhat like a separation factor para siyang equilibrium constants natin. But your absorption factor here is technically used sa ating Kremser equation, okay, for the calculation of absorption columns and towers mismo. Sa rates, number of theoretical stages, theoretical plates, yan. Then your absorbents, I guess everyone knows already, this is the one na kumukuha ng ating solute, either be it a gas solvent or a liquid solvent. Then we have channeling. So channeling is the condition kung saan yung packing surface is not wetted by the flowing liquid due to low liquid rates. So ang tendency lang ng, 'di ba, sa pack columns, yung buong, what do you call this? Yung buong space mismo ng column or yung the whole circumference, okay, or the whole area of a circle, kumbaga, dapat yun ang nadadaanan ng liquid ninyo at saka ng gas. Pero apparently, kapag nagkakaroon ng channeling, yung gas mo lang ang nagfo-flow, okay, sa buong area, okay, ng column, but your liquid flows at certain parts lang. And may mga parts ng column natin na hindi nadadaanan. Okay. And that's because of low liquid rates. So it is the chief reason for the poor performance ng mga malalaking pack towers. Kaya nagre-result sa paggamit ng spray towers at saka ng bubble column, lalo na kung, yun nga, nabanggit kanina, 1 to 2 theoretical stages lang naman yung kinakailangan. Then we have your downcomer, and I believe we have known this already dun sa distillation. So ito yung tube or duct na dinadaanan ng liquids natin from one plate to another without having any contact with your gases. Kumbaga talagang daanan lang siya to reduce the chance of flooding. So we have two kinds of flooding for gas absorption. We have downflow flooding at saka entrainment flooding. So what is downflow flooding? Sa downflow flooding daw, sa mga plate columns natin, nagkakaroon ng excessive build-up ng liquid doon sa plates. So ang tendency, bumabara doon sa plates natin yung abundant volume ng liquid na dapat magkaroon ng in contact with your gases. Okay? And that is caused by insufficient drainage through the downcomers. Hindi effective or hindi maganda yung pagkakadesign or possible na doon sa rate na flow rate ng liquid natin hindi maayos. So ang tendency niya mag-stack up lang doon nga sa ibabaw ng plate. So that's downflow flooding. Kapag nga naman entrainment flooding, either distillation siya or absorption, it is the excessive carryover of suspended droplets following the vapor or gas through the column. So ito naman, kung I have, do pwede namang the other way around din. Kung meron akong liquid solvent, tapos meron akong gas feed, okay? Ang tendency ng liquid solvent ko ay dumami ng dumami. Okay? May mga droplets ng liquid solvent ko na sumasama dun sa aking gas mixture. Okay? So may separation na nangyayari, nakukuha niya yung solute, pero hindi siya sumasama dun sa solvent. Nakukuha niya lang as a droplet na nandoon pa rin sa ating gas mixture. Okay? Ganon yung eksena niya. Nasususpend yung droplets na to doon sa vapor phase mismo. Then we have lean gas. So when we say lean gas, ito yung outgoing gas mixture natin in air or gas absorption column or tower. Okay? Again, it's the outgoing gas mixture. So most likely, ito yung nakuhanan na natin ng solute. Then your packed columns, packings, random, and dump packing, alam na naman natin, or dump packing pala. Then we have your rich gas. So si rich gas naman, siya yung pumapasok pa lang na fresh feed, kumbaga, dun sa ating equipment. So hindi pa siya nakukuhanan ng solute. Then scrubbing, okay, this is the process in which a liquid is employed to achieve or assist in the removal of dispersed particles from the gas. So technically, this is the gas absorption itself. Then strong liquor, skip ko na yung stack packing. Your strong liquor normally is the outlet liquid already. Sir, bakit po siya outlet liquid? Kasi nakuha na niya yung solute. Okay? So other than being a pure solvent, siya ay nagiging mixture na. So your strong liquor may be known as your solution already. Ayan. Then you have your weak liquor naman, na siyang inlet natin since it's a pure solvent pa lang. Okay? But there are cases, okay, na ang weak liquor natin ay nakakapag-contain na po ng solute. May mga ganong cases. Depende na lang kung paano siya na state sa problem. Okay? But most of the time, we try to use, okay, a fresh solute-free na weak liquor. Nangyayari lang siguro yung merong diluted solute doon sa ating weak liquor kapag ka siya ay regeneration or recycling. Yan. Kasi hindi naman 100% na natatanggal yung kasamang component. So ito naman ang magiging block flow diagram natin for gas absorption. So you have there your rich gas and your lean gas, which is the inlet and outlet streams ng ating gas mixture, your weak liquor and your strong liquor, which is the inlet and outlet streams naman ng ating solvent with their respective variables, okay, the representations, LV, L sub 2 and L sub 1, V sub 1 and V sub 2 for your gas naman. Then yung compositions nila. And gaya ng sabi ko kanina, meron tayong ginagamit na solute-free basis naman. So those are your prime variables already. Then in terms of their composition, ito naman yung uppercase variables natin. Okay. Sir, bakit po tayo, by the way, nagsosolute-free? Normally, we use solute-free basis kapag we wanted to get the purest amount na particularly dun sa ating solvent. So, kinukuha natin yung L prime to get a value of your L sub 2. May mga cases din na the other way around kasi we wanted to get naman your V prime as equivalent to V sub 2. Yun ay kung normally 100% maganda siya, okay siya. But there are cases kasi na hindi naman 100% na nawawala sa gas stream natin yung solute, may composition pa rin na naiiwan. So to verify, kumbaga, and check yung amounts nila, edi we use a solute-free basis. Okay. So how can we calculate for the gas at liquid phase concentrations? Okay, since we have two bases. So you have, ito yung non-solute-free natin. Okay, your Y and your X. And they can be converted to solute-free using this formula. So your uppercase X and Y's all over 1 plus your solute-free variables, your Y's and X at the uppercase din. Tapos the other way around lang, or the opposite, kapag we wanted to get naman yung wet basis, okay, ng ating compositions or concentrations from the dry basis naman. Ang pinagkaibahan lang is 1 minus na to. Yeah. Kaya ayoko ng gas absorption, or hindi ko siya favorite. List of my favorite unit operations is because of this. Madalas kong pinagkakalituhan yung pag-convert ng wet basis to dry basis or the other way around. Or minsan nakakalimutan kong i-convert. Dire-diretso lang ako ng pagsosolve. Mali yung nakukuha kong values. Yan. Then we have your overall material balance as always. Then your solute balances. So pagdating naman sa solute balances, you have two. Okay? Kaya nga nasabi ko kanina, sometimes you wanted to get L prime, which is also equivalent to your L sub 2 already, kasi sila dapat ay solute-free. Ayan. So your solute balances may be on a wet basis or on a dry basis, meaning solute-free basis naman siya. Then from your solute balance, okay, ito ginamit dito is yung solute-free. Okay. Same lang siya, ni-rearrange lang natin. Okay, pinagsama lang natin yung both may Y variables and X variables. Kinuha lang natin yung ratio ng L prime tsaka V prime natin. So you can get another expression kasi sometimes pinahanap sa atin yung ratio ng liquid to vapor natin. Yan. Then to get the actual amounts naman ng ating L prime at saka V prime din, we can use these equations naman. If meron tayong value, okay, ng vapor stream natin na pumasok, tama ba? V sub 1, yeah. Ang V sub 2 natin yung lumabas eh. Okay. So, minumultiply na natin siya sa difference noong solute natin with the 100%. And that's your technically solute-free vapor already. Same with V sub 2. Then your L prime, ganon din siya. But this is for the cases na given na si V sub 1, V sub 2, L sub 1, L sub 2, and the compositions ng ating solute sa mga streams na yon. Then for your percent recovery, as much as possible, gamitin natin yung dry basis para ang ma-account lang natin is the actual solute itself. Okay? The actual solute itself. Then for the minimum liquid rate naman, the exit liquid composition will be the actual maximum composition already. Okay? Laging tatandaan na sa pinakamababang rate possible na pumapasok yung ating solvent, doon nakakakuha ng pinakamalaki, okay, na amount ng ating solute, okay, sa liquid composition. So to get, okay, the minimum liquid to vapor ratio, it is necessary for us to get your maximum composition. So madalas binibigay dito yung mga equilibrium formula natin. So your equilibrium formula minsan ay sasabihin doon y is equivalent to 2.2x, yung mga ganyan. So makakakuha ngayon tayo ng maximum value already. And that will be denoted as well as your x sub 1 asterisk. So ito, yun yung gagawin natin here. So same lang naman tong formula na to with this one. Pinagkaibahan lang nito, hindi minimum. Kumbaga ito yung regular operation. But if we wanted to get the minimum liquid vapor ratio or the minimum liquid rate natin, yan, ginagamit natin yung x sub 1 max or x sub 1 asterisk. Then for absorption factor, ito po yung ating magiging formula, where m here is the slope of a line. Kaya minsan, sa gas absorption, may mga graphing din na nangyayari or ginagawa. Okay? But this is not, kumbaga, hindi naman siya ano nga yung term na yun? Kasing talute sa distillation. Minsan sa gas absorption, you just need your, kung ito yung ating, yan, you just need your 45-degree line, then another 2 points, okay, para lang makuha mo yung operating line. Then from there, gawa ka lang ng triangle ulit. Ganon siya. Hindi gaya ng distillation na necessary talaga yung equilibrium curve, yan, na meron kang XD, XF, tsaka kumbaga medyo madaming points na kailangan i-plot. For gas absorption, normally, kukuha ka lang ng 2 points, then connect mo lang siya, that's your operating line already. Kasi kalahati lang naman ni distillation, kumbaga yung kinuha mo, it's either your rectifying section or stripping section. Ganun lang siya. Okay. So, saan tayo kukuha ng equilibrium data natin since we have mentioned already na sometimes gas absorption utilizes as well mga equilibrium curves. So, yung equilibrium data natin or equilibrium concentrations natin, kinukuha natin siya by the aid of solubility data or solubility curves, okay? Na available naman sa Perry's handbook natin. So, solubility may be expressed or calculated using these formulas. Yan. So, parang kumukuha ka lang ng normal concentration technically. So, other than solubility, we can also use Henry's constant na I guess na-introduce na rin naman sa atin, okay, sa phase equilibria. And also, vapor pressure. And also we have distribution coefficients, which is somewhat similar sa ating equilibrium constants. Yan. So later on, kapag inabot natin yung LLE tsaka Litching, meron pang another you call this coefficient, which is known as your partition ratio. Okay, halos similar siya with distribution coefficient or distribution ratio. Meron lang specific term na pinagkaibahan. So for us to fully understand the whole concept of gas absorption, let's try to solve problems included sa ating lecture. Okay. So we have here a continuous absorption column daw that is used for absorbing hydrochloric acid in water. 200 pound moles per hour of gaseous mixture containing 5 moles of hydrochloric acid per 2 moles of air enters the bottom of the tower, and 15,000 pounds of pure water enters the top of the tower per hour. The aqueous hydrochloric acid solution leaving the bottom of the tower contains 1 mole of hydrochloric acid per every 7 moles of water. Assuming no water vaporized in the tower, determine the mole of hydrochloric acid per mole of all in the exit gas stream. Okay. So para mas maintindihan natin, gawa muna tayo ng diagram. Okay, so ganito daw siya. So as per the problem, meron akong pure water as my solvent, meaning yung composition ng aking solute automatically will be 0. Okay? And since sinabi na siya ay pure and solute-free siya, your L prime is automatically equivalent to your L sub 2. Then lalabas daw yung aking solvent na yon na merong 1 mole ng HCl per 7 moles of H2O or water. Okay? So yan na yung naging composition niya or a technical concentration. Then you have V sub 1, which is your vapor mixture na pumapasok daw at 200 pound mole, okay, na merong 5 moles of HCl per 2 moles of air. So ratio lang din ang binigay sa atin. So ang pinahanap sa atin technically is other than the other streams, L sub 1 ay the V sub 2, tsaka yung composition niya. So first and foremost, kailangan tayo ay naka-moles. Ang unit na ginagamit natin ay in moles. So we need to convert yung ating solvent, okay, 15,000 pound mole per hour, or you can omit ito, yung per hour. Lagay nyo na lang siguro ay basis 1 hour operation or 1 hour para matanggal nyo na yung unit ninyo na per hour. Ayan. So, 15,000 pounds over 18.02 pound per pound mole. Okay, so per hour, ito yung number of moles na ginagamit nating water. Same with your V prime. Makukuha natin yung solute-free natin na feed. Paano? So, you have 200 pound mole, okay, of your feed daw. And ang sabi, every 5 moles of HCl, 2 moles of air. So ang mixture ay 7. So from 7 moles of your mixture, meron kang 2 moles ng air. So ang ating solute-free vapor stream is roughly around 57.1429 pound moles. Okay? Paki-double check na lang din po ako ng calculations. Ano, baka may mga errors sa calculation para makorek din agad natin. Ayan. So after doing so, meron na tayo solute-free values ng streams natin. Okay. Meron na rin naman tayong halos x sub 2, which is 0. Your x sub 1, pwede na rin natin siya makuha. Same with your y sub 1. Ang wala lang tayo is y sub 2. So since naka-solute free tayo, we can use a solute balance on a basis of a solute free variable. Okay. So substitute natin yung mga values na meron tayo. Yeah. So for your y sub 1, that's 5/2. Then for your x sub 1, that's 1/7. X sub 2 mo ay 0. Then yung y sub 2 natin is on a dry basis, di ba? So we can express this also on a wet basis para diretso na tayo sa kung ano yung composition niya on a wet basis. Pwede rin namang mag y sub 2 ka para alam mo na rin kung ano yung kanyang dry basis value. Tsaka mo na lang siya i-convert. Then using shift solve, that's 0.2953. Okay. So dito kasi, ginawa na siyang y sub 2 since ang pinahanap naman sa atin as per problem is mole of HCl per mole of all in the exit gas stream. So technically, that's on a wet basis. Kumbaga ay composition niya dun sa mixture. Pero if you wanted to get the amount of your solute lang, magwa-y sub 2 na tayo, itong uppercase. Tapos yung amount niya in pound moles, yun yung i-convert natin to pound mass. Ganun siya. Naintindihan po? Nasundan kung paano natin siya ginagawa? Yun. Medyo nakakalito lang kung saan ka mag-i-start. Lalo na kung hindi natin ma-identify kung siya ba ay solute-free or not. Pero if I were you, you may always start sa solute-free. Lalo na kung meron namang given values ng mga variables necessary para makuha mo yung solute-free streams natin sa liquid at vapor. Then, tsaka mo na lang siya i-convert on a wet basis. Pero again, it's a case-to-case basis kasi minsan lahat ng given naman sa'yo naka-wet basis naman, tapos ang kahanap sa'yo dry basis. Ganun siya. Okay. Sir, saan nga po galing ang 18.02? Si 18.02 ay nanggaling sa mass. Mole per, tama ba? Yeah. Molecular mass. Or molecular mass ng water. Kasi di ba pure water ang ginamit natin solvent. Ito lang ay naka-in pounds. Hindi siya naka like gram per mole. Naka-pound siya. Ito yung molecular weight. Okay. Di ko pala nabanggit. No, sorry. Yan. So let's have another problem. So we have here dry gas daw containing 75 mole % of air and 25 mole % of ammonia vapor na pumasok the bottom of a cylindrical packed absorption tower that is 2 feet in diameter. The nozzles in the top distribute water. So from the problem itself, ma-identify natin na spray tower yung ginamit na column. Okay. Distribute water over the packing. A solution of ammonia in water is drawn from the bottom of the column and scrub gas leaves the top. The gas enters at 80 degrees Fahrenheit and 730 millimeters mercury pressure. It leaves at 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 730 millimeters mercury. The leaving gas contains, on the dry basis, sinabi na agad, so that's uppercase y sub 2, 1 mole % of ammonia. If the entering gas flows through the empty bottom of the column at an average velocity of 1.5 feet per second, how many cubic feet of entering gas are treated per hour and how many pounds of ammonia are absorbed per hour. So para mas maintindihan natin yung problem, illustrate muna ulit natin siya. So we have a spray tower, tapos ang pumasok daw is 0.25. Okay? Ito yon na ammonia. Tapos pumapasok yun at 1.5 feet per second. Unknown pa yung amount or dami ng vapor mismo. At 730 millimeters mercury na pressure and 80 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. Tapos lalabas daw siya on a dry basis na agad, sinabi siya. So that's uppercase Y sub 2 equivalent to 0.01 or 1 mole percent at 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 730 millimeters mercury. Okay. So to solve this, kuhanin muna natin yung rate or your Q. Okay? Since may binigay kasi sa atin na rate dito na 1.5 feet per second ang pumapasok. Tapos meron din naman binigay sa atin na diameter. So para makuha lang natin yung total amount or volume kumbaga ng pumapasok per hour. So your rate is equivalent to your area times yung volume ng pumapasok. So ang area ng ating column is pi over 4, 2 squared, or pi, parang d squared over 4 siya. Times yung ating velocity. So that's 1.5 feet per second. Convert lang natin siya per hour. Since ang hinihingi sa problem is per hour. So that's 16,964.60033 cubic feet per hour. Okay. Then ang gusto nating gawin is convert natin ito sa moles. Okay. Or pwedeng in pounds. Depende sa inyo. Pero since sabi ko nga kanina, it's better to calculate values or yung problem natin, ma-solve natin siya in moles talaga dapat. So we use or we need to find its density. Excuse me. So your density is equivalent to your pressure all over RT. Okay? So kung babalikan yung phi-chem natin, di ba, meron tayong ganitong formula. Okay. Sa colligative properties, shortcut formulas yan. So from there, we use yung ating given parameters, which is 730 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so dahil ito yung naka-English unit, tayo ay magbabase sa kung ano yung ating magiging gas constant, which is available naman sa ating Paris. So kung meron kayo sa Paris handbook na makikita na ang gas constant na ginamit ay in millimeters mercury and in degrees Fahrenheit, walang problema. Pero if not mistaken kasi, ang nandoon ay in PSIA at saka in Rankine. Okay? So we need to convert your pressure and temperature dun sa aayon sa ating gas constant. So that's in PSIA and in Rankine. So convert si 730 to PSIA using this conversion factor na available din sa ating Paris handbook. Then si temperature, nag-a-add lang tayo ng 459.67 to convert it into Rankine. So ka-cancel out natin to, leaving us pound mole per cubic feet. Okay? Na amount, or na density. Okay. Then from there, we use that density para makuha yung ating volume or V sub 1 itself in units na pound mole. So from 16,000 natin cubic feet per hour, okay, na volumetric flow rate, multiply natin siya sa density, makakakuha ngayon tayo ng molar flow rate, okay, na 41.3665. Okay. So ito ay wet basis pa. Okay? Hindi pa to V prime. Aray ko. Yeah. But we can get your V prime already. Ano? So from the ammonia absorbed, that is V prime, times the difference ng ating mole fractions or compositions ng ammonia on a dry basis. That's Y sub 1 minus Y sub 2. Okay? Since Y sub 2, wala na tayong problem, dry basis. Ito naman, convert na lang natin siya. Okay? By simply, ito yun. Itong conversion na ito, yan. This is yung Y sub 1 natin over 1 minus Y sub 1. Then your V prime ay di yung amount na nakuha natin as V sub 1 multiplied sa kung gaano ba kadami yung composition ng ating feed. And as per the problem, 75 mole percent air. Kaya ito siya. Okay. Tapos convert na natin siya sa pounds. Sir, bakit po pala 75% yung ginamit? Ay ammonia absorbed po ang pinag-uusapan kasi ito ay dry basis. Solute free ito. So kailangan itong ito ay yung solute free natin. And solute free natin ay 75% air. Okay. So the ammonia absorbed is 170.8745 pounds per hour. Okay. Naintindihan po? Nasundan po ba? Paki-counter check na lang din po ako ng calculated values. Okay. Okay, tama ba? Tama naman. Pwede na tayo mag-proceed sa next problem. Excuse me. Okay, so this will be the last problem for this subtopic. Tapos yung isa, since I'll be uploading this din naman, you can use that as a reference and try to solve it on your own. Try to understand bakit ganun yung naging solution. Yeah. So for the last problem, meron na tayong binigay na equilibrium data. Okay? That is represented by the equation given sa problem. This is y equals 5.2x squared, where x daw is equivalent to the kilomole of dissolved absorbable material per kilomole of pure absorbing liquid. Okay? And your y is kilomole of gaseous absorbable material per kilomole of inert gas. Okay? So parang technically, solvent tsaka lang din. Solvent tsaka carrier gas. Okay? Na may kasamang solute. So the unit is operated as continuous counter current absorption. The entering gas contains 5 moles ng absorbable material per 20 moles of inert gas, and the absorbing liquid enters the column as a pure material. Determine the minimum ratio of liquid to gas if the gases leaving the tower contain 1 mole absorbable material per 20 moles, 50 moles rather, of inert gas. Yan. So to illustrate, ganito lang yung given sa atin. So on a dry basis, yung meron tayo. Excuse me. So if that is the case, pwede na tayong dumiretso dun sa conditions natin for the minimum liquid to vapor ratio. Okay? Nasabi natin kanina, if we wanted to get the minimum liquid to vapor ratio, kinakailangan yung x sub 1 natin is equivalent to your x sub 1 max. Okay? Or x sub 1 asterisk. And from the equilibrium na binigay sa atin, okay, we can simply rearrange the actual equation in terms of x para makuha natin kung ano ba yung maximum value. Okay? So by rearranging, ito yung magiging formula niya in terms of x. Then substitute x as x sub 1, which is equivalent to the maximum x value already. So that's 5 over 20. Since ang sabi natin, your y is yung dissolvable material over inert gas or carrier gas. So that's 5 over 20 all over 5.2. And the equating value will be your maximum x sub 1. Okay? Then from there, since we have x sub 1 asterisk, by the formula given to us, na ang L prime over V prime minimum natin, okay, ay equivalent to this, substitute na lang tayo ng given sa atin at yung calculated natin. Given tayo ni y sub 1, y sub 2 on a dry basis, since pure naman yung solvent na papasok, automatically dry basis man or wet basis, x sub 2 is equivalent to 0. So we have also x sub 1 already. Okay, kahit wala siya sa given, calculated na natin siya. Just substitute the values and the minimum liquid to vapor ratio, okay, solute-free ito, meaning pure liquid at pure vapor ito, is 1.0490. Okay? Naintindihan po? Naintindihan? Okay. So for the next problem, try to answer it on your own. But then again, I'll be uploading din naman this reference, this lecture. So you can just use that as a reference. Wag lang basta kinokopya lang. Aralin din kung ano ba yung ginagawa dun sa problem. For us to proceed sa gas absorption in plate columns naman. Okay. Then after this, meron pa tayong packed tower. So yung sinolve natin, yung 3 problems, it's just the main parang operation ba ng gas absorption. But what if gumagamit na tayo ng trays or gumagamit na tayo ng packings? Paano ba natin siya sinosolve? So for gas absorption in plate column, meron tayong Kramser-Brown absorption factor na ginagamit for us to easily or rapidly determine yung theoretical number of stages ng gas absorption column natin. Okay? So, ito daw ay available sa Paris Handbook ninyo at equation 14-31, 9th edition. Okay? So, I guess index cards are not necessary na dahil meron naman nito. Or, dahil ang absorption factor natin, tama ba? Oo, absorption factor natin is A. Nakukuha natin si effectiveness or percentage absorbed. Yun yung ginagamit natin for your theoretical number of stages. Yung N dito ang theoretical number of stages. So basically, ang kinakailangan nating kuhanin, if given na si absorption factor, factor, ito na lang. Yan yung kukuhanin natin, yung kakalculate natin to get effectiveness or percent, parang efficiency. Tapos yun yung isa-substitute natin for n. Though, pwede rin naman ito. Kaso nga lang, meron kasi tayong n value here na yun nga yung hinahanap natin. Kung given na to, at saka yung absorption factor, pwede na yan. Pero kung hindi, at i-calculate mo pa rin si E, most likely ito yung kailangan natin. Calculate mo si E, given si absorption factor, makakalculate mo si N. Ganon siya. But there are also other equations naman na pwedeng gamitin, gaya ng Taylor-Tour equation. So this is a simplified Kremser-Brown absorption equation. So dito, hindi na tayo gumagamit ng absorption factor or effectiveness. Diretso na tayo sa pagko-compute ng mga y sub 1 natin. Y sub 1 asterisk, maximum value, minimum value man yan. Yan. On a dry basis or wet basis. Tapos yun yung ginagamit natin to calculate for the theoretical number of stages. Or we can also use Colborn factor. So gumagamit pa rin ng absorption factor dito, okay, to calculate for the theoretical number of stages. Available din siya sa Perry's Handbook at equation 14-33 ng 9th edition. Eh sir, alin po siya nang gagamitin namin kapag ka nag-compute na kami? Madalas naman, binibigay naman sa problem kung ano yung gagamitin na equation for the calculation of the theoretical number of stages or plates. If not naman stated, check kung anong given. If may mga given sa inyo na absorption factor, effectiveness, or pinahahanap din si effectiveness, most likely you will be using Kremser-Brown absorption factor. Tapos, if uncertain ka naman sa answer mo, after doing so, you can use Taylor-Tour equation to somehow check and verify lang kung malapit ba yung value na makukuha mo. Pero kung wala namang given na absorption factor or effectiveness, I guess Taylor-Tour equation is the safe formula for the theoretical number of stages to be used. Again, kung hindi naman stated explicitly na mag-Taylor-Tour ka. Ayan. Kung absorption factor lang naman ang given sa inyo, at hindi pinahahanap si effectiveness, possible na ma-state sa problem na you are to use Colborn equation. Since absorption factor is given, or kung pinahanap si absorption factor at ipagagamit si Colborn, yun. Ganun siya. Madalas sa madalas, stated naman sa problem, or makikita nyo sa problem kung ano yung gusto niyang ipagamit. Ayun na equation. Okay. So let's try to solve a problem. So gaya dito, hinihingi sa atin yung theoretical number of stages using Taylor-Tour method. So explicitly stated sa problem na Taylor-Tour yung gagamitin natin. With the values na ang gusto daw ma-absorb, desired to be absorbed is 90% of the acetone mula dun sa gas mixture natin that contains 1 mole % acetone sa air in a countercurrent stage tower. So from that, masasabi natin that air is your carrier gas and the total inlet gas flow to the tower is 30 kg/mole per hour. And the total inlet of pure water that flows to be used to absorb the acetone is 90 kg/mole per hour. So water ang ating solvent dito. The process is to operate isothermally at 300 kelvins and a total pressure of 101.3 kilopascals. Nagbigay din ng gas liquid equilibrium, which is Y is equivalent to 2.53x. So with that, lagay muna natin siya sa block flow diagram natin. Okay. Operating conditions, percent recovery, and streams natin. So dahil pure, automatically X sub 2 is equivalent to 0. And then you have V sub 1 at yung composition niya which is 1% acetone. Okay. So to solve this, solve muna natin siya on a dry basis or solute-free gas tayo. So hahanapin natin si V prime since given na sa atin si L prime. So V prime is V sub 1 times 1 minus Y sub 1 on a wet basis. So we have 30 times 1 minus 0.01 or technically 99%, di ba? 99% of your feed is your solute-free gas. Okay, so that's 29.7 kilograms mole per hour. Then, convert natin yung ating given sa dry basis. Okay. Para makuha natin yung Y sub 2 natin. Okay, na dry basis din. So to solve for Y sub 2, we can use yung recovery natin na formula. Sir, bakit po? Eh di ba sabi 90% ng 0.01, okay, or ng 1 mole percent acetone na available sa inlet gas mo, 90% niya ang gusto nating makuha. Okay? So technically dapat mayroong halos 10% na maiiwan dun sa gas stream natin. Okay? And that's your Y sub 2. That's your 10% already. So from the percent recovery formula, substitute natin yung converted natin na composition sa dry basis na Y sub 1. Then shift solve. So ang Y sub 2 natin is 0.00101. And di ba halos ito ay 10% nito? Tama ba ako? Or baka mali ako ng pag-ano. 0.0101 and 0.10. Oh, tama nga. 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, na-verify natin na 90% yung na-recover since naiwan nga lang is 10% of your 0.01. Okay. So, after that, convert natin. Okay? On a wet basis naman. Yan. So, we have 0.00109. Okay. So, you have your Y sub 2. Meron ka na ring Y sub 1. You have your X sub 2 already. Wala ka lang X sub 1. But I guess your excess naman here is not necessary. Okay. Now, using solute-free balance, makakakuha ngayon tayo ng X sub 1 natin. It's either dry basis or wet basis, nasa sa inyo, tsaka nyo na lang siya i-convert, wala rin namang problem doon. Lalo na if you wanted to calculate all possible values. Yan. Okay. So ito na yon using shift solve. Then, from the given equilibrium sa atin kanina, we have y is equivalent to 2.53x. Ang kailangan nating mahanap is your maximum amount ng y. Okay? And to do that, you need to substitute your x sub 1 to get the maximum or your y sub 1 asterisk. Kasi yun yung kailangan natin sa Taylor-Tour equation natin. Okay? Your y sub 1 asterisk. So with the given equilibrium and calculated x sub 1, the resulting y sub 1 asterisk is 7.5665 times 10 raised to negative 3. Okay. Another variable na kailangan natin is y sub 2 asterisk. Eh di ba ang x sub 2 natin is 0. So automatically, 0 din si y sub 2 asterisk. Now I guess we can use your Taylor-Tor equation na. Since you have your y sub 1, y sub 2, and the asterisk of y sub 1, y sub 2. So using Taylor-Tor equation, yan, substitute lang natin lahat ng calculated and given values sa atin. So we have 0.01, the calculated y sub 2, the calculated y sub 1 asterisk, and the calculated y sub 2 asterisk. And from there, we have 5.1038 stages. But since we don't have a 0.38 naman na plate, di ba? We round it off pataas. So we have 6 stages. Okay. Naintindihan po? Na-gets kung paano natin siya ginawa? Okay. So sige, isa pa. Let's have another one. Tapos yung sunod na problem dito, we have 2 problems. Ay di, sagutan nyo na lang din. Kasi same lang naman. Taylor-Tor ulit, number of theoretical stages. Yan. Ang pinakaibahan lang, yung sa susunod na problem, ang pinahahanap din ay minimum rates. Yan. But I'll be uploading this and you can use that as reference. So we have here a mixture of ammonia and air that is scrubbed in a plate column with fresh water. If the ammonia concentration is to be reduced from 5% to 0.01% and the water and air rates are 0.65 and 0.4 kilograms per square meter second respectively, how many theoretical plates are required? The equilibrium relationship may be written as y equals to x, where x is the mole ratio in liquid phase. Yeah. So sabi, ammonia concentration is to be reduced from 5% to 0.01. So you can infer already na yun yung y sub 1 to y sub 2 on a wet basis. Ano? Yan. So to illustrate, ganito siya. You have 0.4 daw na air. Air lang yun, so that's solute-free vapor stream. Tapos yung ating liquid, so automatically, ano naman siya, pure din. Tapos yung y sub 1 to y sub 2 natin, reduced from 5% to 0.01%. As equilibrium natin is y equals to x. So, ganun ulit. Okay? Kuhanin natin yung dito. Yung streams natin. Okay, in kilomoles kasi naka-kilograms pa eh. Yan. So, your streams in kilomoles. So, water lang naman ito at saka ano ngayon? Ammonia. Ba ako? Ammonia nga. Ammonia. Yeah. So you have 0.0361 and 0.0138. Okay. Then, convert natin to dry basis yung ating y sub 1. Pwede rin naman din yung y sub 2 na. Convert na rin natin siya. So you have 0.0526 and 1.0001 times 10 raised to negative 4. Then from there, meron kang L prime, V prime, Y sub 1 and Y sub 2 na dry basis. Tapos yung X sub 2 mo naman, wet or dry is 0. makakakuha ka na ng X sub 1 on a dry basis using solute balance or solute-free balance natin. Substitute all values, then shift solve. That's 0.0201. Okay? So dahil meron ka ng X sub 1, X sub 2, Y sub 1, Y sub 2, almost complete na, no? Convert na lang natin siya to, your Y sub 1 asterisk. Since ang pinahanap sa atin is theoretical number of plates. Tapos hindi rin naman na-state sa problem kung anong gagamitin technically na formula. So, it's safe to assume na siya ay Taylor tour ang gagamitin natin. And for Taylor tour, necessary yung Y sub 1 asterisk at saka Y sub 2 asterisk. So, it's either on a wet or dry basis, your Taylor tour equation applies as well. So using your Taylor-Tour equation, we can calculate that the theoretical number of plates is at 6.0241 or approximately 7 plates. Okay? Naintindihan po? So if curious kung ano ba yung dry basis, ito siya. Halos same lang naman. Naging uppercase lang. Okay? Ito. Okay? Naintindihan po? So I guess you can solve the following problems already. Using Taylor-Tour equation din. So, kukuhanin lang naman natin yung mga mole fractions natin. So, if you wanted to get all mole fractions, wet and dry, walang problema. Walang problema doon. Basta, kung ano yung hinihingi ng problem, edi yun yung makuha natin. Lalo na yung theoretical number of plates. But either way, kung alin man ang kuhanin mo, wet man or dry basis, na mga y at x values natin, makukuha mo naman using Taylor-Tour equation. So I guess we can now move with gas absorption in packed tower naman. Okay. Wait lang ha. If I can finish this at 3, mag-break muna tayo at 3 p.m. Then, LLE and leaching tayo siguro after mga 15 to 30 minutes. Kasi mabilis na lang din naman yun. Yeah. So, since packed tower na ito, wala na tayong theoretical stages, hindi na siya hiwa-hiwalay. Ang isa, or I mean, ang main variable na kailangan nating makuha is height, or yung tinatawag natin na packed height. We can calculate your packed height using the number of transfer units, or NTU, or N, times your height of transfer units, okay, or HTU, or variable H. When we say number of transfer units, this is a dimensionless number that measures the difficulty of separation. Meaning, gaano ba kadami yung nagka-transfer na solute papunta dun sa inyong solvent. Either be it liquid to gas or gas to liquid. Okay? When we say number of transfer units, again, ito yung bilang, okay, or dami ng natatransfer na solute papunta sa inyong solvent. So a larger NTU will be required for a very high purity product, which is true. Kung kailangan mo ng, let's say, 99%, okay, ng product mo, ay dapat ay pure, dapat madami yung nagka-transfer na solute mo doon sa iyong solvent. Kasi kung hindi at kakaunti talaga, kahit anong padaan mo dyan, hindi siya magiging ganun kataas na purity. Kasi mas madami pa din yung solvent mo over your solute. So kapag ka nagkaroon ulit ng panibagong separation process to get, okay, yung inyong solute out of the solvent, mababa ang purity niya. Okay? Kasi mas may chance na sumasama pa din yung solvent at a particular form ng inyong solute after that separation process. Then we have your height of transfer unit, which is also a dimension, hindi pala siya dimensionless. It has a dimension of length. So in meters, okay, normally meters naman, di naman siguro aabot ng kilometers ito. Or inches, siguro, or feet, yan, mga yan. So a measure of the separation effectiveness of the particular packing. A smaller value of HTU means a more efficient mass transfer. Kumbaga, kung I have a height packing, yung total height ng packing ko is 6. Sabihin natin 6 feet. Pero doon sa operation, nangyayari ang separation within 3 feet or 2 feet lang, mas effective siya. I mean, madami kasi ang nakukuha ng aking liquid na gas solute at a lower height lang. So kahit hindi ko makonsume yung buong 6 feet, mataas yung purity na makukuha ko most likely. Or mataas yung separation efficiency na makukuha ko. Okay? But it does not necessarily mean naman na larger value ng HTU means less efficiency ng mass transfer. There are cases pa rin naman na kahit mataas yung value ng HTU, mataas pa rin naman yung efficiency. Though nagva-vary na nga lang yon yung mga ganong situations sa kung anong klase ng feed meron ka, anong klase ng solvent yung gagamitin mo, mataas ba talaga ang selectivity, kumbaga optimum selectivity yung napili mo, and etc. Yan. Okay. So to calculate for the number of transfer units and the height of transfer units, we need to have these formulas. Okay? So, ito yung general formula for the transfer unit, NTU, and this is naman for your HTU. So, nagkakaroon lang ng additional formula dahil nito. Okay? Yung parang log mean. Okay? Na difference. So, you can calculate that using these equations naman. Okay? So, after doing this, ito at saka ito, substitute na lang siya. Then, what's G and K sub YA? Okay? Your G po stands for mass per molar flux natin. So, it's either on a gas basis or liquid basis siya. While your KYA naman, pwede rin naman KXA siya, it's your overall overall mass transfer coefficient from the gas or liquid phases. Kapag lowercase k, YA, and lowercase XA, ito ay gas phase mass transfer coefficient lang at liquid phase mass transfer coefficient lang. Parang ito yung wet basis at dry basis natin. Pero dito, overall siya. Okay? Overall yung uppercase natin. Ang kailangan natin is your overall. Okay? Yan. Ang kailangan natin is your overall. So, yan yung mga formulas necessary. Then, for your film heights, okay, kung height siya ng gas natin, gas film natin, ito yung gagamitin natin na formula. And kapag ka naman liquid film height, ito naman yung gagamitin natin na formula. Okay. So medyo madami-dami lang formula for gas ab compared to distillation. Then for calculation of tower height, we can use these formulas. Okay, if you wanted to use either gas phase or liquid phase. Yan. Tapos yung x asterisk minus xlm natin, it has another expression, okay, na pwede natin gamitin bago natin i-multiply dito. Where S is your cross-sectional area ng tower and Z is the height of the tower. So siguro mas ma-appreciate natin yung formulas na na-present sa atin kahit medyo overwhelming using a problem. Ano po? Okay. So for this one, we have 3 problems. So I guess let's just solve 2 problems. Then the last problem, I leave it up to you guys. Yeah. Okay. So we have here daw a gas stream containing 3% of A, component A, that is passed through a packed tower to remove 99% of that component by absorption tower. So out of the 3%, 99% yung gusto nating matanggal. The absorber will operate at 25 degrees Celsius and 1 atmospheres. And the gas and liquid rates are to be 20 mole per hour square feet and 100 mole per hour square feet respectively. May binigay sa atin na mass transfer coefficients ng liquid at saka gas phase. Ito ay mass transfer coefficients lang hindi overall kasi siya po ay naka-lowercase. And also equilibrium equation natin, y equals 3.1x at 25 degrees Celsius. Then we are asked to find the number of transfer units sa gas phase, the height of transfer units sa gas phase, the number of transfer units sa liquid phase, and the height mismo ng ating, yung packed height. Okay, ng packings, height ng packings. Okay, so illustrate natin yung given variables using a block flow diagram. So ganito po siya. So sabi, 99% recovery out of the 3%. Okay? Na meron dun sa 20 mole per hour square feet na pumapasok na gas mixture. So at first, we are asked to calculate for the number of transfer units sa gas phase natin. Okay. So to do that, let's calculate muna gaano ba kadami yung gas talaga, yung gas lang. Okay, the carrier gas alone na pumapasok. So you have V sub 1 minus 1 minus Y sub 1. Okay? Or technically, 97% of 20 mole per hour na pumapasok. So that's 19.4. Then let's convert yung 3% natin to dry basis. So that's 0.0309. Okay. Then for the 99% removal or recovery, dapat may matitirang almost 1% dun sa V sub 2 natin. Diba? So we can use this percentage again to calculate Y sub 2. Okay? Na later on, we can double check if that Y sub 2 is 1% of your Y sub 1. So 99 is equivalent to Y sub 1 minus Y sub 2 all over Y sub 1 times 100. So using shift solve, Y sub 2 on a dry basis is 3.09 times 10 raised to negative 4. So you can check if that is 1% of 0.03. Okay. So as per my calculator, tama na siya ay 1%. Ano? So 99% kasi yung recovery na nakuha ng ating solvent. So using solute balance, okay, makukuha naman natin si X sub 1. Gaano naman kadami itong si 99% doon sa ating exiting stream ng liquid or sa ating strong liquor. Okay? So your x sub 1 was automatically substituted on a wet basis here. So that's 5.8996 times 10 raised to negative 3. Okay. So after doing so, compute natin si y sub 1 asterisk. Okay. Using the x sub 1 na nakalculate natin and y sub 2 asterisk na din. Kasi yan yung kakailanganin natin to calculate for the number of transfer units sa gas phase. So convert natin si y sub 2 and yung dry basis natin kanina y sub 2 to wet basis kasi ang necessary variable ay dapat naka-wet basis siya. So kailangan natin makuha muna yung denominator natin, si LM, and using the formula presented sa atin kanina, substitute lang natin yung mga values. So we have 3.1343 times 10 raised to negative 3. That would serve as your denominator. Ayan. Substitute lang ulit. So the number of transfer units now is 9.4730. Okay? Naintindihan ba kung paano natin siya ginagawa? So it's more of finding ways to get the compositions. Pwede namang dry basis tsaka wet basis ang kuhanin nyo nga talaga. Tapos magbase na lang kayo kung ano yung formula na gagamitin for the theoretical number of stages. Necessary ba itong kuhanin pa si mga number of transfer units? Kasi from there, dun kayo magbabase kung ano talaga yung kailangan. Okay? Yan. So after calculating your number of transfer units sa gas phase, let us now calculate naman yung height of transfer units natin sa gas phase. So sabi, we have a total amount ni component A na 3% out of 20 moles na pumapasok. So that's 0.6. Okay? Moles. Then let's calculate for your G. So ang G natin is the average, okay, of V sub 1 plus V sub 2. Since your G by definition ay mass per molar flux based on gas or liquid. Okay? So that would be 20 plus 19.4. Tama ba? Wait lang. Oo, 19.4 kasi ang 19.4 natin is your carrier gas lang. Okay? Your carrier gas lang siya. So itong 20 ay V sub 1, ito yung V sub 2 na carrier gas lang, then 0.6. Okay? Which is the total of A. Okay? Ito yung pumasok. Total niya, 0.6. Pero ang nakuha lang kasi natin or naiwan sa V sub 2 is 0.01. 1% lang ang naiwan since 99% of 0.6, okay, ay na-recover natin. Nagets po? Again, this is V sub 1, ito ay total ni V sub 2. Yung carrier gas alone and yung naiwan na solute. Over 2. Then let us solve for 1 minus y asterisk Lm. Kasi yun yung gagamitin natin to solve your height. Then kailangan din nating makuha yung ating overall mass transfer coefficient. And sabi sa atin kanina, your overall mass transfer coefficient is equivalent to 1 over 1 over gas phase mass transfer coefficient plus m, which is the slope of the equilibrium, all over liquid phase mass transfer coefficient. Saan na yun? Okay. Yeah. So given sa atin, si 15 at saka si 60. So saan yun ang galing? Ito po, may data po tayo na binigay sa atin, which is 60 and 15, KXA and KYA. Then, may binigay sa atin na equilibrium equation. Okay? This is equation of a line po, ymx plus b. Nag-zero lang yung kanyang coefficient. So, the slope is 3.1. Okay? That's your m. So, yun yung isa-substitute natin dito. So, using shift solve, makukuha natin ito. KYA. And that's 8.4507. Okay? Now, we can solve for the height of transfer units sa ating gas phase using this formula. So, nakuha na natin si G, yung overall mass transfer coefficient sa gas phase, and at the same time, yung ating LM or the logarithmic mean. Okay? So, substituting that, we have 2.3893 feet. That's the height of transfer units. So, the total height ng ating packings or the packed height is now Z equivalent to NOY times HOY. Or kung liquid phase naman yung na-calculate natin, NOx times HOx. Substitute the calculated values and we have 22.6338. So parang pumapatak na meron akong 11, like 10 to 11 stages ng separation. Kasi kung meron akong 22.6338 feet, diga? Tapos, kailangan ko lang naman na height of transfer unit ay nasa 2.3893. So, every 2.3893, may nakukuha akong effectively, okay, na ganitong amount. Ito, 9.4730. Para siyang percentage ng transfer units. Okay. Naintindihan po yung concept ni height at ni number of transfer units. So, ibig sabihin sa overall na 20 mole per hour, every 2 feet or mga 2.5 feet, may nasa-separate ka, may nakukuha ka. Ganun siya. So, may additional na pinahahanap sa atin, number of transfer units naman, sa liquid phase. Ano? So ito, X values lang naman ng mga Y values natin kanina, yung kailangan natin gamitin. And since we have equilibrium equation, pwedeng yun na yung gamitin natin. Okay? Since we have X sub 1 and X sub 2 already, gamitin natin yung Y sub 1 at saka Y sub 2 natin to get your X sub 1 asterisk. Okay. At saka yung ating X sub 2 asterisk. Ganun lang naman siya. Then use the formula na almost similar din with NOY. Naging X values lang talaga din sila. Okay, then substitute lang natin siya dun sa formula ni NOx. Yan. Ganun lang siya ng ganun. Okay? Intindihan po? Basta may formula, kaya naman siya actually. Kasi yung pagkuha naman natin ng mga y sub 1, y sub 2, asterisk man or hindi, ginagawa na natin siya kanina eh, yung first part. Hanggang sa nag-Taylor tour ka, pack towers, plate columns, same lang ng same. Ang nababago lang is, or ang pinagkaibahan lang is, nadadagdagan ng formula for a specific type ng column. Either be it, either be it plate column man siya or packed tower. So sa mga spray towers, tsaka bubble column, may computations din, specifically rates. Ano pa ba? Dispersion, mga ganon. Pero hindi na natin siya gagamitin, hindi na natin siya i-discuss. Kasi yung dalawa pa nga lang overwhelming na. Okay? But I guess the second problem is also the same. Ganun din siya. So kahit pala ito ay i-leave ko na rin sa inyo. Given naman dito yung G na, mga G values na nito. So ganun din, pinakukuha din sa atin yung height ng tower. Okay, so I guess that's the end of gas absorption. Okay? Then the rest of the problems, you can use, you can use the uploaded presentation as your reference as you answer yung other problems. I-upload ko din siya today. Okay? Questions po sa gas absorption. Clear naman ang concept ni gas absorption. Malinaw naman siya sa atin. Okay. So yun naman. Dapat lang naman talaga malinaw sa atin yung kung paano siya nag-ooperate para alam natin kung ano yung mga dapat hanapin talaga or paano natin siya hahanapin. So sige, I'll be giving you siguro 20-minute break before we start with LLE and leaching. Halos same principles din naman and kung paano siya kino-compute. May mga kaunting kaibahan lang dahil nga depende sa feed na pumasok. Liquid kasi yung isa naman ay solid. So may mga few changes kumbaga sa nagiging formula nila. Pero yung paano sila sagutan ay almost similar sa isa't isa. Yan. So I'll be uploading din naman a few references na pwede nyong basahin, aralin, yung mga sample problems doon for LLE and leaching. Yan. Kasi sa LLE and leaching, may graphing pa rin talaga na included. Pero may mga problems kasi na pure material balance lang din naman ang hinihingi. Kaya madali lang din naman siya. Pero yung pag-graph naman, actually madali lang din. Hindi naman siya ganoon ka-intense. Not unless complicated talaga yung problems. So sige, let's have a 20-minute break. Let's all be back at 3:30. Grace period tayo hanggang 3:35. Then let us start